So Jesus points out that life is short, and you don't know when your last day may be. And the idea that we have a storage of stuff, I want to suggest to us this morning, is not impressive to God. Amen. If we don't have a storage of godly treasures that measures up, what good is it? Having possessions is not very impressive because you cannot take your possessions with you. Amen?
Amen.
I wonder if the person in the story got the message of their greed and maybe made some challenges or made some changes in their life. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being called out by Jesus? And that's what happened here. Being pointed at and told that you are greedy and you have all this stuff and you think that it really matters. You have all this stuff and does it really matter? You're resting on what you think you have accomplished, and God has taken a back seat in your life. Amazing when you think about it. Amazing, because I believe here at Valley Ministries we talk a lot about the spiritual principle of putting God first. And that's what I've tried to encourage you to do for years. For you to be spiritually disciplined in every area of your life, in your giving, in your faith, in using the gifts that God has given you. All given by God to be used by you. We are the vessel by which God can use and change the world. And change the world, I believe we can do. I want to suggest to us this morning, when difficulty comes, and we know it all comes, amen? When difficulty comes, it doesn't come when you're faithful. It doesn't come when you're all built up. Most of the time it comes when you're at a low point. And the question is, are you still faithful? Or do you make an excuse about giving or your faith or why you can't serve during this time? This is when the true test is. It doesn't come usually when you have enough. It comes when you are in the midst of challenge. This is why it's important for us to have a storehouse that is built on the foundation of God. Amen. And godly principles, and not a storehouse built on the grain of the world and built on the grain of stuff. Stuff is just stuff, after all. Amen. And so how do you do that? I believe that Philippians 2 gives us a clue. And so I want to give you this outline as I close this morning. There's just a few things on this list, and you can follow along. There's a couple fill-ins there. And here's some things that we can do to live above this greed mentality. First is fill up on God's joy, living in harmony.
Yes.
Fill up with God's joy. How do you fill up? Well, you read the Word, you come to service, you worship, you sing, you pray. There's many ways. As many people as there are, that's how many ways there are to fill up. Because we might do it in different ways. We might go for a walk and that fills us. And seek God in nature. But it's important to be filled up. And that's how we can live in harmony. The next thing is, do nothing from fractional motives. In other words, if there's a conflict, resolve that conflict. And don't think that you're above it. And then if there's something that happened and then you act out of that, that's what fractional motives are, is by acting out of something that's been done unjustly maybe. So take care of those things. Bring God's light to that. The next thing is live with humility. I believe again that God has an abundant life for us. But if we're all haughty about it, what good is that? We need to live in humility that, yes, God has blessed me, and I'm going to be a blessing to others. We can be humble about that. Look to the concerns of others. Help others. I think about this guy with all this storehouse. I wonder how many hungry people he could have fed with all of that food. And I wonder how many people he could have helped, but chose not to. And the care group of Stockton is going to get ready to do a Saturday feeding. You know, we're looking for peanut butter and jelly. We're looking for canned meats because we're going to start feeding on Saturday as well as Wednesdays. And so, you know, even if you're not part of the care group, there is a place for you to be able to help.
Amen.
We can use our resources to help and look for the concerns of others. Then, having a good attitude and being on purpose with a humble mind. How about it? Do you need to check your attitude sometimes? I know I need to check my attitude.
Yes, Lord.
Sometimes
yes, Lord.
my attitude is like, ooh, I just shake my head at myself. Because I have that attitude, you know, I get an attitude. And sometimes it's just, you know, the attitude is about me. It's about, you know, girl, you think you're doing that or whatever, you know. So check your attitude.
Amen.
And be on purpose with a humble mind. And then lastly, let Christ's humility be your example. You know, Christ went to the cross for us. Nobody else did. Nobody else paid that price.
Yes.
And when people talk about hate and fear against our community, you know, I see Jesus died for me, not you.
Yes, yes.
And that's the point, is that how important it is for us to understand that Christ's humility can be our example. And that we're called to bring that light. I'm going to close with a little story this morning. This week I had an occasion to meet with a person that comes to our church, and he was telling me about his father. And his father is a believer, and his father is a wealthy man. And when his son comes to visit, his father's all caught up in CNN and all the latest thing that's going on in the world. And he walks in and his father's all negative about things. And crying about, you know, the resources that he doesn't have anymore. But yet he has a nice home and he has enough. And my friend was telling me that, you know, it's really sad because I have people coming into my office crying because they've lost everything.
Yes, Lord.
And yet I'm there trying to bring them hope. And I'm not gonna let the discouragement of the world overtake me. I'm choosing to bring the light, he said. Wow, those are powerful words. And so he told his father, you know, you have a choice to live in this doom and gloom, or you have a choice to bring the light.
Amen.
You can bring the light. And that's what I believe God's called us to do, is to bring the light and be light bringers to this world of darkness. So I pray this week that you will think about these things as you go through your week. God bless you as we prepare our hearts for communion.
Amen. Amen. Bless you.